The Lakers are back in the playoffs, but LeBron and the team have not forgotten a big reason why they are here, wearing hats that read, "Make America Arrest the Cops Who Killed Breonna Taylor." They are staying on message and using their platforms. The real season begins. Game 1 between the top-seeded Lakers and the 8th seed from Portland. You'll see it here on Spectrum Sportsnet. No real home court advantage this year. That's not Staples Center. It's the bubble in Orlando, and it's pretty quiet. Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. I'm Chris McGee, joined by the Hall of Famer, Big Game James Worthy, a 7-time NBA champion, Robert Horry. Allie Clifton will be here. We'll have Mike Trudell, Mike Bresnahan. Long time coming. Back in the playoffs. Take me inside the mind of a player. Game 1, round 1 of the NBA playoffs. Just what you're feeling, the excitement, the nerves that go along with it.
I'll tell you what, just looking at the bubble's starting to look real good right about now, Geeter. In the playoffs, it's your second season. Not that you forget the regular season, because that's what geared you up. But it's like you get to start over again almost. And so you're excited. You only got one team to worry about, for the first round. You don't have to travel as much. And you're excited. You're eager. You got butterflies. You should be a little bit nervous. And so, but you're looking to up the ante a little bit, because you only have to worry about one team. And so you look at the video, you look at the plays, you study, you focus, and sometimes preparation kind of helps you overcome the nerves. I hope that's the case tonight.
Yeah, you get to know a team like the back of your hand. And speaking on my experience of playing in the playoffs, most players I know put themselves in a bubble when it comes time to the playoffs. You take out a lot of factors in your life, like going to dinner, having family come over, visiting with friends, and that's what they've been in for the last month. So I think they're already in the playoff stage where they putting themselves in the bubble, getting ready to play. Now it's time to put their money where their mouth is and go out there and play hard. But I think the most important thing for them is understanding now they're going to rely on themselves, their heart, and not the fans. They got to do it themselves and push themselves over the top.
I will say, there's a lot of pressure on that number 1 seeded team. You got a big target on your back. It's a little extra. So you can't afford to lose a game early, and because then the nervousness and it just compounds. So AC team, not as much
Playing
pressure.
with house money.
Well, also on the flip side of that, James, I remember losing game 1 to the finals to Philly. Yeah. It pissed us off.
Yeah.
And we just, hopefully, they don't get into this situation, but they're ready to play.
Let's see how the teams match up. The purple and gold hold the edge 2-1 in their regular season matchups with the Blazers. As we take a closer look at the numbers, we all remember the game the Blazers won. It was the last time they played, late January, against the Lakers. The Lakers have dominated pretty much every category, scoring 128 points per game to the Blazers 120, shooting 51% to 48. The three-point percentage 39 to 36, and the Lakers also out-rebounding the Blazers. Yesterday, LeBron spoke about facing off with the bubble's hottest team.
They definitely been playing playoff basketball since they got here to the bubble. Obviously, it was a lot of their games was like must-win. They probably felt, and they've been playing some really good basketball along with some other teams here in the bubble. And it's going to be challenging for us, but that's what the playoffs is all about. Every matchup should be challenging, and that's what you live for moments to be challenged. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity. But they're not your typical 8th seed. I don't think they'd have been the 8th seed if they were healthy all year. And that's my mindset. I'm not going in as it's a 1 seed versus 8 seed. I'm going in with this is the Lakers versus Portland. So I've already thrown that out of the window. So I won't be going in with my guard down.
We saw the Magic beat the Bucks already today, 8-1. Lakers are up against a hot team. We've kind of been in elimination mode ever since they got to the bubble. Rob, how important is it for the Lakers to come out and make a statement and set the tone for the series?
No, you have to smack them around like a little brother, and you got to go out and say, hey, We're the number 1 seed. You can't take this team light. LeBron knows that because this team was just in the Western Conference Finals not too long ago. Now they fell to the AFC, but they're a good ball club. So you can't take them lightly. You're going to go out and say, hey, jump on them early and don't take any plays off. There's some times where you got to get on the floor. This is the playoffs. You get on the floor for a ball. You go extra hard. You box out. It boils down to doing a lot of fundamental things that guys have a tendency to forget about during the playoffs because they say, oh, I'm just going to rely on my talent. No, but you box out, you talk, you communicate, you do all these little things to make yourself ready for this playoff game.
Yeah, you've had the whole regular season to kind of, massage the team, make some mistakes, learn from them. You've had the whole regular season. It's playoff time now. Every game is critical, and you have to do everything that Rob just says. Get all the loose ball, 50-50, make the free throws, because in multiple games with one team, it's going to be the little things sometimes that win games for you. So your antennas always have to be up collectively, particularly on the defensive end.
Rob, today Shaq called it a game one, a feel-out game for a lot of players. How does LeBron approach game one, do you think? Do we see him in attack mode right away?
I hope so. I think with guys who've been in the league as long as LeBron, you go into attack mode because all you're thinking is get 4 wins and then rest. Because the key to that is you don't know what's going to happen in the playoffs. The next series that you play might go 7 games. You can get that rest, and that's the key factor. You want to attack, win games because injuries can pop up. There's so many different things that can pop up during a playoff series, so you want to take advantage of the opportunity. You want to win a game. You don't want to relax because once you relax, that's when you get snake bitten.
Big game, no hotter player in the league than Dame time. The bubble MVP was cooking. I mean, we're talking, James, over the last 4 games, he's averaging 46 points, 46% from 3, and 9 assists per game. You know how he's going to come out. And he only comes out one way, aggressive.
You and Rob just talking about attack mode. You better believe the Lakers are going to be attacked. And so you better be in attack mode. In fact, you better get into, the best gear you can get in, because not only do they have Damian, who's like a killer, he's an assassin, McCullough, Gary Trent Jr. comes off the bench, shooting lights out. So the guards in particular are going to have their antennas up, and you better be in attack mode until the last whistle or the last second on the clock.
How impressive has he been, Rob?
Man, I was watching the game the other night when he stepped across half court and let it fly, and it hit nothing but net. I'm like, wow. And this guy is such an amazing athlete. The thing about him, though, is he's kind of suspect on the defensive end. He kind of saves his energy for the offense. So you got to be an attacker. When you have guys like that that can score anywhere on the court, you got to make them put some pressure on them defensively so you kind of tire him out on the defensive end. So it's going to be key to keep his legs not so fresh.
Yeah, Lakers and Blazers are coming up at 6 o'clock right here on Spectrum Sportsnet. They are back in the postseason for the first time in a long time. And one man I know who is locked in for this Laker game, by the way he walked in the building, it's brand new daddy, Mike Trudell. Congratulations and welcome.
Riggs.
Thanks
Riggs
so much,
Trudell.
guys. Appreciate that.
Riggs.
Yep, thank you. Thank
Little
you for the
legend.
shout out to Riggs, right? Well, he's ready for his first Lakers playoff game, and he doesn't know any different, okay? In his existence, the Lakers have never not been in the playoffs, right? So let's just make that very clear. Now, if you look back to the regular season matchups, there's some things that you can take away, guys. Of course, in December, no use of Nurkic, no Zach Collins, and Collins won't play tonight for Portland. And then the January game was just so difficult for everybody considering the emotional circumstances following the tragic passing of Kobe Bryant. But I wanted to know from Frank Vogel, is there one thing that stands out atop the scouting report, and has that evolved at all from where the things were in the regular season, especially back before COVID hit, compared to what we've seen from the Blazers in the bubble? Here's how Vogel responded.
Probably just trying to limit their threes and free throws. The biggest thing, obviously starting with Dame, that would apply to him. But really for their whole team, they're a great free throw shooting team and a great three-point shooting team. And, the biggest evolution in my mind since the regular season is the addition of Nurkic, who's really an all-star level center that changes their team.
Frank, just looking at the way that your team has been in practice the last couple of days, have you gotten indications about, okay, now playoff game number 1 is starting compared to just being there in the bubble for this long? Now it's go time. What indications have you seen?
Yes and no. Our team has been very attentive and focused all year long, but it has seemed a little bit more heightened over the last few days.
Hey, Frank, it's Bill Oram. Do you go into a series like this or game one like this thinking, trying to stop Dame and take away what he has done so well, especially in these seeding games, or is it to withstand what he does and take away the things around him?
We're going to try to do both. We want to try to. We know we can't obviously stop anything, but we can limit them. If we can limit Dame and we can limit the others at the same time, we're going to have a great chance to win. So I never really felt like it's a one or the other type of thing. Let one guy get 60 and keep the other guys at bay, or the other way around. We want to try to stop everything. Our defense is designed to start with the head of the snake and make sure that we're rotating and covering the other guys as well.
All right, guys, so it's very difficult, of course, to match up with Damian Lillard for any team, but let's not forget that it's pretty difficult to match up with LeBron and AD as well. LeBron specifically, not necessarily somebody on that Blazers roster that is a good matchup for him on the wing, so major advantage in that instance for the Lakers as well. We'll see how it plays out. Soon, playoff time.
Playoffs are coming, Mike. Appreciate that, buddy. We'll talk to you a little later. A look at the projected starting lineups for Game 1. LeBron James, of course, Danny Green, KCP, Anthony Davis, and JaVale McGee. One change for the Blazers, Zach Collins out. Wenyen Gabriel is in, but as Coach Vogel mentioned, one big change for them, Nurkic is now healthy and playing well, of course, Carmelo, CJ, and Dame. Keep it here for Game 1 between the Lakers and Blazers. The last time the Lakers were in the playoffs, Dwight Howard was the starting center. What a journey it's been since then. He's still in search of a chip. We're back with more after the break as we prepare for the Purple and Gold's return to the postseason.
Here comes LBJ! Look out! Danny Green lob. AD! What a play! Showtime!
Look at this Porsche defense.
No until the end. Don't challenge JaVale. Team, look at this save! And Kuzma, he goes all the way. He throws it down with AD in the first row. Now it's LeBron looking for his first assist. And what a great play! First assist of the half is a highlight reel. He kicks it to the corner. Danny Green for the tie! For the tie! Oh, that's Alex Caruso! The Caruso! Throw that down! They've got time with 2, with 1. Dudley will count if it goes. It goes to end the quarter. LeBron James spinning all the way. There it is!
Says Sportsnet Lakers. They begin their postseason journey, and they're taking on the Portland Trail Blazers at the top of the hour. Here's the schedule for games in the series. Tonight, 6. Game 2, Thursday at 6. Game 3 is Saturday. It's the only one not on our air. It'll be on ABC at 5:30. Game 4 next Monday, August 24th. That's Mamba Day. That's a win. Game 5, 6, and 7, if necessary, will be played on the 26th, 28th, and 30th. Let's check in with Allie Clifton and our Laker Insider, Mike Bresman.
That's right. It's time for Brez's three-point play, playoff style. 3 things that you are looking forward to in this game. And Brez, we begin with the shooting struggles that the Lakers had during the seeding games. Will it translate over to the playoffs? Larger part you'll have your eye on Danny Green and KCP.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, congrats on our first ever playoff 3-point play. Going to be looking for some more made shots from both those guys. They struggled in the bubble. There is no doubt about that. We've got some numbers for you here for both KCP and Danny Green. They were good in the paint, especially for guys who aren't exactly 7-footers. Look at those numbers highlighted in yellow right there. Outside the paint, those guys really struggled. And that could be anywhere outside the paint. 13